Hi there, I'm Stella from Stella's Yarn Universe. In today's tutorial, I show you how to crochet a little Cupid doll, but you don't necessarily have to turn the doll into Cupid. You can just crochet until you have a little toddler or a baby or a small child, because this pattern is completely adjustable depending on how long you make the legs and the arms. You can turn it into a baby doll or a toddler or a little child. So I hope you crochet along with me, whichever doll you want to create. You have complete freedom of creativity, and that's what I love to encourage you to. So this idea came from one of you, dear subscribers, Maria, who told me about her little grandson, Ethan. I hope I pronounce your names right. And she said that he's 2 years old and he has blonde hair, and she would love to make a little doll like him. So then I thought that's a great opportunity to make a little boy that can also be turned into Cupid, because Valentine's Day is just around the corner. So this tutorial consists of 2 parts. This is part 1, and then there's a shorter part 2 in which I'll link to in the end of the video so you can find it easily. So now, without further ado, let's get started. For this project, we'll need yarn in a DK or light worsted weight. I'm using Shapeless Katona for this one. And color-wise, you need your hair color of choice, any skin tone you'd like to use, and white for the nappy or diaper, as you call it in the US. And this is all you need if you make a little toddler doll or a child doll. Then we also need, if you're making Cupid, I recommend you use some snuggly fluffy type yarn like this one. This is Sirdar Snuggly Snowflake Decay, I believe, in white. And I will crochet this together with the white cotton yarn, just so I will be able to see the stitches more clearly. Then we also need some fiber fill and scissors and stitch marker, of course, a yarn needle, and 5mm safety eyes. If you like, you can use some blush to give him or her rosy cheeks. And if you're making Cupid, like I will, then you will also need some craft wire for the bow and arrow. And to shape it, we'll need pliers. Now, it doesn't really matter if you have flat pliers or rounded ones. If you have both, rounded ones will work better because you can nicely shape the bow. But don't worry, use anything you have at hand. And for the arrow head, I will use a little red pom-pom, which I will cut into a heart shape. And this one I found at Hobbycraft, so you should be able to find a small bag of these at your local craft store. And then just something to cut the wire. You don't necessarily need this tool that I pinched from my husband. Strong kitchen scissors should work, I think. Then some glue to glue the pom-pom onto the arrowhead. And I'll be using this see-through sewing thread to hang up my little Cupid, but if you have white sewing thread, it will be perfectly fine because that's almost invisible. And that's also what I need the sewing needle for. And actually, I forgot to mention the hook. So we'll use a 2.5mm hook for this, which is a size B or C, something in between. So if you tend to crochet tightly, I'd go for a C. And if you tend to crochet more loosely, I'd go for a size B. So that's all we need. Let's get started. We begin with the feet. So we start with a slip knot so that we can make a chain of 5. Then we single crochet in the next 3 chains, starting from the second from the hook. That's 3. And then we'll single crochet 5 in the last chain. 1, 2, 3. Then I'll turn it around to crochet the other 2, still in the same chain, but from the other side. That's 4 and 5. Now we crochet in the other side of the chain. So in here, 1 in the next chain, and another one in the next. And then we increase in the first chain here, in the other side of the first chain. So we single crochet 1 and 2. Now we have a tiny sole of the first foot, and we have 12 stitches now. Just going to place my stitch marker in the last stitch just to be sure. Now in our next round we will crochet only in the back loops, and we'll simply single crochet 12, 1 in each back loop. That's the back loop round complete. So in the next round we will crochet normally again in both loops of each stitch, and we single crochet in the next 3 stitches. One, 2, 3, and now we will decrease 3. So we make an invisible decrease. If you haven't done this before, I have a little tutorial on how to do it, which I'll link to in the upper right corner. But basically you just insert your hook in the front loop of the next stitch and in the front loop of the stitch behind it. Pull the yarn through and then complete your single crochet as usual. So we do this 3 times. And a 3rd time. That's it, and now we single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Split my yarn there. 1, 2, and 3. So now we have a round of 9. Now before we continue with round 4, I just want to hide the yarn end inside the little foot. Oops. Just using the back of my hook to push it in, and this will hide the end as well as fill the little foot a little. It doesn't need to be filled very firmly, just very lightly, so just the yarn end will do. Now, oops. In round 4 we single crochet in the next 2 stitches. One and 2, and then we decrease 3 times again. That's the second decrease. And the third decrease. And then we'll single crochet in the last stitch of the round. So now we have a round of 6. And our first little foot is finished. In round 5, we continue with the leg. So we make an increase in the next stitch. Now I just need to be careful not to pull out the yarn end that I've hidden there. So an increase in the first stitch. 1, 2, and then single crochet in the remaining 5 stitches. I just got rid of my stitch marker because it's really annoying with a small round like this, and I'm counting along with you, so this shouldn't be a problem. Usually I always need a stitch marker, otherwise I get distracted and then I have to count from the first round to find out where the beginning is. And this should be 5. In round 6 we keep increasing, so we begin with an increase in the first stitch again. 1 and 2, and then we single crochet in the remaining 6 stitches, so that we'll have a stitch count of 8 at the end of the round. In the next 2 rounds, round 7 and 8, we'll simply single crochet in all 8 stitches. So you can pause the video here and hit play once you've completed round 8. That's round 8 complete, and in round number 9 we begin with 2 single crochet, then we increase again, and then we single crochet in the remaining 5 stitches. Two, 3, 4, 5. So now we have a stitch count of 9. Round 10 begins with 3 single crochet, and then we increase in the back of the leg again, and we single crochet in the remaining 5 stitches of the round. It's 3, 4, 5. So now we'll have a stitch count of 10, and for the next 4 rounds, round 11 to 14, we will simply single crochet in these 10 stitches. So once again, you can pause the video and hit play once you completed your 4 rounds of 10 single crochet. Just a little side note, here is where you can easily modify the pattern to your liking. So if you'd like to crochet a smaller doll, just reduce the amount of rounds, you single crochet 10, or if you'd like your doll to be taller than mine, then you can add a few more rounds of 10 single crochet. Round 14 is complete now, and so is the first leg. So we can fasten this one off. And it looks so cute already. So for the other leg, we repeat these 14 rounds. I'm not sure where the beginning is now. I just write the minute that you need to scroll back to right there for you. So you know where you can find the beginning of the foot that we started with. And then just complete these 14 rounds exactly the same way as you did with the first leg, but don't fasten off, because from there we will continue and connect the 2 legs. So now the second leg is complete. Remember not to fasten off. I'll just secure my stitch for a moment, because now I want to fill the legs, and you don't have to fill them if you don't think it's necessary. I'm just going to fill them very lightly, and only the upper leg really. So I'll just make a tiny ball with the fiber fill and put it in. And then try to distribute it evenly throughout the upper leg. And that's enough. Now the other leg. Okay, so now we can continue with the body. So we'll need to make a few single crochet depending on where we are now with this leg, because we need to get to the inside of the leg. So in my case, I will single crochet 2 more so that I can connect the legs at the inside. That will be about right. So once you're at the inside of the leg, chain 2, and then insert your hook at the stitch at the inside of the other leg. I'm going for this one, and now crochet all around the leg. So that will be 10 stitches, 10 single crochet. We just ignore this end for now. It's 2, 3, and 4. Pull the end tight. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now we've crocheted all around the leg. And now we will single crochet 1 in each of the 2 chains. Chain 1 and chain 2. Make sure both feet are forward pointing. And then we single crochet in the 10 stitches of the other leg. So all around, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we'll single crochet 1 in each of the chains again, this time from the other side. 1 and 2, and this is now going to be the end of the round. Now in the next 7 rounds, round 16 to 22, we will single crochet in all 24 stitches. So once again, you can pause the video and hit play once you completed the next 7 rounds of 24 single crochet. Our 7 rounds of 24 single crochet are complete now. So in the next round, round 23, we start with 6 single crochet, or however many you need to get to the side of the body. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we decrease. If your beginning of the round is somewhere else than it is for me, then you can adjust the number of stitches to make sure the decrease is on the side of the body. Then we single crochet 10 across the back, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops. 10, and decrease again. And then we single crochet in the remaining 4 stitches, or however many stitches you have left now in the round. And that's round 23 complete. So now we have a stitch count of 22. Round 24 begins with 5 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, feel free to adjust the number of stitches you make before the first decrease, because it should be on this side of the body. So we decrease, then we single crochet 9 across the back, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and decrease. And then we single crochet in the remaining 4 stitches, or however many you have left in your round. So our final stitch count of the round should be 20. In round 25 we keep decreasing, but this time we want to decrease in the front and back of the body. So for me this means I single crochet in the next stitch, then decrease, and then we single crochet in the next 8 stitches, no matter what. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we decrease in the back. So single crochet the next 2 front loops together, and then we single crochet 7, or however many stitches you have left in the round. So by the end of the round we'll have a stitch count of 18. In round 26 we'll increase in the front and back again, so I'll start with a decrease, then we'll single crochet in the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then once more decrease, and then single crochet in the remaining 7 stitches. Now in round 27 we will single crochet in all 16 stitches that we now have. Round 27 is complete now, and I secured my stitch because now it's time to fill the body with fiber fill. And this time I'll make sure that I fill it quite firmly so that it holds its shape. Now the body is nicely filled, so we can continue with round 28, in which we will decrease 8 times. So you can slightly press the body together, which will help you insert your hook in the front loops. And decrease 8 times until the round is complete and you'll have 8 stitches. Sometimes make sure the fiber fill goes back in so you don't crochet it into your stitches. Now you have a chance to squeeze in a little more fiber fill if necessary. Just squish it into tiny balls to get it in. Maybe one more little ball. Now in the next round we single crochet 2 and decrease 1. And we repeat this twice. So by the end of the round we'll have 6 stitches. In round 30 we will simply single crochet in all these 6 stitches. So this is going to be the neck. And don't worry about the drop shape, it will all make sense once we'll add the arms that we will crochet separately. Now we're going to shape the head. So in round 31 we'll increase 6 times. So single crochet 2 in every single stitch. So by the end of the round we'll have 12 stitches. In round 32 we'll increase in every other stitch. So we single crochet in the first and then increase in the next stitch. 1 and 2, and we repeat this 6 times until the end of the round, so that we'll have a stitch count of 18. In round 33 we'll crochet in the next 2 stitches and then increase in every 3rd stitch. Oops. 1 and 2 in every 3rd, so we repeat this 6 times in total, so by the end of the round we'll have 24 stitches. In round number 34 we'll crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll increase in every 4th stitch 6 times in total, so we'll have a stitch count of 30. In the next 2 rounds, round 35 and 36, we'll single crochet in all 30 stitches. So once more you can pause the video here and hit play once you completed round 36. This is round 36 complete, and now in the 2 following rounds I will crochet gaps for my safety eyes, because even though they're only 5 millimeter, so they're quite small. This bit is quite thick and it's always so difficult to get it through the gaps. So I'm going to crochet 2 little holes into the head so that I can fit them easily, and also jamming them in won't mess with the shape of the head, which I really want to avoid. So if you have any other type of eyes that you're using, or if you want to embroider eyes, which I recommend if this little doll is going to be a toy for a little child, then just go ahead and single crochet in all 30 stitches for the next 2 rounds. But if you have thick safety eyes like me and want to crochet gaps for them to fit in, then go ahead and crochet along with me. Now again, where you place these gaps depends on where your end of the round is now. We've crocheted many rounds together, so depending on tension, your end of the round might be somewhere different. So I'm just showing you how to determine where to crochet the gaps. Just lay the doll in front of you and then find the 2 middle stitches. Let's just remove this hook. So for me, this would be these 2. So these are the 2 middle stitches, and then I move 2 stitches wider. So these are the 4 middle stitches, and this is going to be the distance between both eyes. Then I move 1 in each direction, and this is where I'm going to place the gaps. So now I'm going to see I have 1, 2, 3 stitches that I need to crochet before I crochet the first gap. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 gap, 1, 2, 3, 4 gap, and then the rest of the round. So once you know how many stitches you need to make to reach the first placement for the first eye, start crocheting. 2, 3. So here's going to go my first gap. So I chain 1 and then I skip the next stitch and single crochet in the next stitch. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet space in between the eyes and another gap. So chain 1, skip 1 stitch and single crochet in the next. And now just single crochet however many stitches you have left in the round. So for me that should be 21. That's round 37 complete, so we still have our 30 stitches. And in round 38 we single crochet until we reach the first chain that we made for the eye gap. And then we just single crochet in the gap. So just insert your hook under the chain and single crochet so that you build a little hole in there. Then single crochet in the next 4, 3, 4, and in the other gap, just under the chain, and single crochet in all the remaining stitches of the round. Now in round 39 we start decreasing, so we single crochet in the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3, and then we decrease, and we repeat this 6 times until the round is complete, and we'll have a stitch count of 24. Now we can insert the eyes. That's always such a magical moment. So if you're happy with the placement of the eyes, you can secure them. And that's it, he has a little face now. In round 40, we keep decreasing. So now we want to avoid to decrease in the same spot as we did before. So we will single crochet in the next stitch, then decrease, then single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and decrease. And we continue this 5 more times, single crocheting 2 and then decreasing. And then there will be 1 stitch left in the round in which we will single crochet. So at the end of the round we'll have a stitch count of 18. Now is a good time to start filling the head, but before we do that, it's necessary to make sure that the head won't tilt too much. So there's a really good trick that I learned from my friend. Her page is Fantasy Sprites, so I highly recommend you check out her page and see her beautiful magical creations. And this is a really good play-friendly trick to use a hairpin and just insert it through the neck so that the neck will be supported. But I still wouldn't recommend using this if it was to be played with very small children, same as the safety eyes. But anyway, this is such a tiny doll. Probably isn't ideal for small children anyway. Then we can start filling the head. Just make sure there's fiber fill between the eyes. This is enough for now because we can still top it up after the next round. So in this round we'll single crochet in the next stitch, and decrease, and we repeat this 6 times until the end of the round. And then our round will have 12 stitches. That's round 41 complete, so now I'll add in some more fiber fill to make sure the head is firmly filled. That's the head nicely filled, so now we can crochet our very last round of the head. And we will simply decrease 6 times. So by the end of the round we'll have 6 stitches. It's the last round complete, so now we can fasten off. So we need our yarn needle now. I still didn't find my usual yarn needle. I think I need to give up and buy a new one. And then we insert the yarn end in all the front loops, all 6. Four, 5, and 6. Pull tight and insert the end in the middle, and then we'll weave in the yarn end at the back of the head. Now the body is almost complete, but of course he still needs arms, and the light is getting a little bad, but I can't finish part 1 without adding the arms. Arms are essential. Everything else can go into part 2, but the arms will have to be done now. So we start with a magic ring. And if you need a more detailed tutorial on how to make one, I'll link to it in the upper right corner there. Then we single crochet 5 into the magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm sorry. Then in the second round we'll increase in all 5 stitches. I'll just loosen up the first stitch a bit, like I always do, because I find it difficult to crochet the first stitch after a magic ring. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we repeat this with all 5 stitches, so we'll have 10 once we reach the end of the round. That's 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. In the next round we single crochet in all 10 stitches. 2, that's round 3 complete, and now in round 4 we decrease twice. So that's 1 decrease, and another one. Then we single crochet in the next stitch, again we make 2 decreases. One and 2, and a single crochet in the last stitch. So now our round has 6 stitches, and that's one of the little hands done. So for the proportions of my doll, I will single crochet 10 rounds of 6 single crochet now. But as you did with the legs, you might want to adjust the number of rounds you do depending on if you're making a baby or a little toddler or an older child. My 10 rounds of 6 single crochet are complete now. So you can always have a look and see if you're happy with the length of the arm. So once you're happy, we can fasten off. Oops. And we do that the same way as we did with the last round of the head. So we just insert our hook in the front loops of all 6 stitches. And then pull tight and stitch through the middle, and we can actually use these ends to sew the arm on later on. So I'll just stitch through here and also thread the other end onto my needle and stitch that one somewhere through in between round 1 and 2. Ready to sew on. Now, if you're making a little boy or girl, then you can make the other arm exactly the same way. So all you have to do is go back to minute, whatever it says there, and make the other arm. But if you're making little Cupid like I will, then this will be the arm that he holds the bow with, and the other arm he'll need to shoot his arrow. So this arm we're going to make slightly different. But the hands are the same. So once again we start with a magic ring. That's tiny hand number 2 complete, and in the next 4 rounds we'll single crochet in all 6 stitches. So you can pause the video again and hit play once you completed round 4 to 7. Our 4 rounds of 6 single crochet are complete now. So in round 8 we'll single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll double crochet in the remaining 3. So in British terms, we'll treble crochet 3. That's 1, 2, and 3. And now in the next 5 rounds, we'll single crochet 6 again. So that's going to be round the right arm is complete now, so we can fasten that off as well. And then I'm going to show you how to sew on the arms. So if you're making a little boy or girl, it doesn't matter of course, but if you're making Cupid and you made one arm that's at an almost 90-degree angle, then you can now think about if you want this to be the right arm or the left arm, depending if your Cupid is left or right-handed. And then we can attach the arms. So just thread one of these ends onto my yarn needle, and the arm is going to go here. So I will stitch through in between these 2 rounds, and then I'll just stitch parallelly through to the other side of the body. And then I will thread the other yarn end. Don't worry if your yarn ends are too short now. Honestly, I didn't plan making it this way because you can just as easily cut a piece of yarn in the same color that you used and then use it to sew on the arms. So that's all I'm going to do because I want it to be able to move. So I'll just make a double knot here. Oh, my garden squirrel. I just had to show you the squirrel in my garden. He's trying to find a hiding place for his knot. So now that we made the knot, we can just weave in these 2 ends here on the side of the body. And once that's done, we repeat this with the other arm. So I threaded one of the ends onto my yarn needle and I stitch through parallelly so that the needle comes out under the arm we've just attached. And then I thread the other end. And stitch through just 1 round beneath. That's when pliers come in handy to pull the needle through. And that's it. Now we just repeat what we did with the other arm. Just make a double knot. And weave in the 2 ends. This is part 1 of the tutorial complete. Now we have the base for our little doll, and I can't wait to film part 2 tomorrow, in which we will crochet the hair, the nappy or diaper, the wings, and we will also build the bow and arrow. Thank you so much for crocheting along with me. I'll link to part 2 so you can find it easily. Thank you. See you in part 2. Bye.